What's happening, fam? Before I get into anything, I just wanted to address a couple of things quickly. Obviously, this video is about Main Street Stereo. I had some work done there. And as I brought the car home and started checking over everything, there were a lot of tiny flaws that, I fixed, could be overlooked. But there was one major one. And one of the major things that was overlooked before the car left there and came home was the fact that you'll see in the video that I was talking about, that the actual video of the trunk setup, you'll see that I'm talking about how Remy made the trunk as the kill switch. When I shut the trunk, the light should shut off. I actually showed him where the power wire was. He connected it there, but he ended up grounding it to the body of the car. And most cars, they have a ground cut, not a power cut, meaning when you shut the trunk, it cuts the ground circuit, not the power one. So because the circuit can't be complete, that's why the light shuts off in the trunk. So a week passed by, and in between that week, my car battery went down dangerously twice. Now I have a very, very advanced charger, so I put it on trickle charge, and every time I open the garage, every day, the charger's running. Usually that thing charges, it does a lot of modes like desulfation, things like that, and then it'll put it to a nice charge and turn off itself. This thing wasn't shutting off for days, and I couldn't understand why. I actually had to finish up a video for another company on my wife's car at night, and I had to shut my garage door off. So to shut it off, I had to go through the garage in the dark to get to the light switch, and that is when I saw a tiny little light peeking through where the back seat was. And I was like, no way. So I had to bring the car outside, and once I tested it, I pulled my back seat down, shut the trunk, and guess what? The lights weren't going off. So those rock lights were on for literally a week. So you'll see in the video, I end up fixing all of these things myself, and I actually came up with a genius idea, and you'll see that soon. So, I just want to give you guys, and listen, this video is not made with any malice whatsoever. I have nothing against those guys. I just don't want the same thing that happened to me happen to anybody else. I actually called and spoke to them already, and to tell you the truth, the amount of money that I paid for this is the reason why I do most of my own work. The amount of money I paid definitely wasn't worth it to me, because now I had to bring the car home and correct a lot of issues. You'll see what I'm saying. So guys, enjoy. Again, this video is not made with any malice. I have nothing against those guys, but I'll talk to you soon. Hey guys, before I start this video, I just wanted to show you a couple things that I changed once I got the car back from Main Street Stereo, and this actually made it better for aesthetics and functionality. Number one was the water trap. The water trap was right over here, and it was slanted, and obviously this line right here, it was zip tied to this for just stability. But I had enough line where with these fittings, you can angle and move the trap without, screwing up the integrity for air. So what I did was I put the trap where it's completely vertical, and that is best for trapping moisture. So completely vertical, and if I wanted to drain that trap, I could actually angle this now and bring it back to the front just for ease, but it's fine right where it is, and it's not touching my surge tank. Number two, these power lines for the compressor. Remy had ran it all the way over here on both sides. So now when you're standing back here, you were seeing the lines running under the tank. I didn't want that. So what I did was I just removed the screws, and I just tucked the lines, and it's now, the wire management looks a lot neater. So now when I'm standing back here, you can see a black sleeve running on the outside. You get what I'm saying? Look how it looks. You can barely see anything right there. Number three, this screw right here for the manifold was screwed in back here, which is fine. You only need 2 screws for this, but the angle was off. This side here was slightly closer to this backing than this side. So I took the screw out, straightened it, and put the screw up here instead. So now that manifold is perfectly spaced, because as I said, you guys know me from my previous videos. When I'm doing anything, straight up OCD. Everything has to be symmetrical. Everything has to be evenly spaced. And that looks perfect. Also, the rock lights in the trunk, the rock lights were not evenly spaced, so I had to redo a couple of them. I'm actually in the process of finishing up this one right now, so I had to re-drill the holes and just move them along for aesthetic purposes. All right, guys, so something genius that I thought about is, now that the trunk is actually connected, like the trunk is the kill switch, where I connected the rock lights to the ground of the trunk. Once I close the trunk, the rock lights turn off. And what I thought of was, this trunk has a timer. So if the trunk is open for a certain amount of time, it'll shut off the light. So I think after like somewhere around, I think it's like 10-15 minutes, and it powers off itself. So I'd have to shut the trunk and open it for the lights to go on again. So what I did was, I ended up tapping right here off of the ground wire, okay? And I ran, as you see in the time lapse, I ran that ground wire I tapped off of through the holes that Remy at Main Street Stereo did, okay? And then I used a 21mm hole saw, put a hole right here, ran the switch, and then grounded it to the body. So by me grounding it to the body now, that'll trump the trunk signal. Now if I turn the switch off, once I turn the switch off and I shut the trunk, the lights would turn off. So once I cut the signal to the body via the switch, it'll work like normal, like the trunk is the switch instead. So I just got to make sure I don't forget. So if I turn it on, watch this. So I turn on the switch, I'm going to shut the trunk. You can see the light is still on in the trunk. See it through there? The light's still on inside of the trunk. And now, I'm gonna turn the switch off. Turn the switch off. Watch what happens when I close the trunk. You see the lights flicker because the signal is dying. There you go. Guys, just to let you know, this trunk is not even done yet. I'm doing a couple things later on with it. I already called up a couple places to get my tank wrapped and whatnot. So it's going to be lit. Let's get it. Guys, check this out. Now, don't that look sweet? Let's get it. What's happening, fam? Welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's doing well. I didn't think I was actually going to vlog about this, but I'm actually having a little bit of work done on Hulk at a place called Main Street Stereo. I'm going to flip the camera around. This is actually on my phone because I wasn't prepared to do this. The owner wanted me to get a couple clips or whatever, what they're doing, but I found this place by a good recommendation, and it seems to me that they can handle the job. So this is going to be like a custom trunk setup for, you know, to build around my subwoofer and my my air tank stuff. So all right, guys, so far, look at these beautiful cuts. So he's building the MDF around my surge tank. These compressors are probably going to be inserted into my wheel well. I don't know yet. And the box was set up all the way to the maximum height, and they built that enclosure around it exactly to my specs. And then now the tank is sitting up. I'm gonna ask him what we're doing with these compressors. All right, guys, so as you saw in the previous shot before, now everything is kind of like gutted because he's making his markings. And what's gonna happen is we're not gonna use the well anymore to put the compressors. We're gonna leave everything kind of like tiered. So the box is gonna be the highest, the tank, and then the compressors. And what he's drawing this template here for, the lines are gonna be running underneath and through here. So everything is pretty much gonna be like super neat, as he has everything out here. But other than that, that's really it. As I said, I didn't think I was gonna be doing anything with this, but I wanted to do it because these guys do actually pretty damn good work so far from what I've been seeing. And you know, I mean, he uses care and takes his time, make sure not to scratch up your property or anything like that. So the next video you're probably gonna see is when everything is pretty much done, and I'll talk about it a little bit more when I get the car home. So for now, take it easy. All right, guys, just got home. Just want to show you guys this real quick. Look how that bad boy looks. Love that cut around my surge tank. Super neat. Like it a lot. Like the black carpeting, it definitely makes everything pop a lot more. As I told you guys yesterday, the box is all the way up, so behind this paneling here, the box is pretty much all the way up as far as it can go, and then the tank comes down, and then the compressors at the bottom. And the cool thing is, what Remy did is pretty much took everything out and ran everything underneath this floor into where the spare tire. Obviously I don't have a spare tire in there anymore. I took all that stuff out, and he put the management really neat right here. Super neat, man. Everything is really dope. And then we got the rock light kit. If you notice it, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, it's an 8-piece kit, and it's, man, really nice kit too. What I like the most about this, definitely that back panel right there. Look how that back panel looks. Looks really good, because it's not just a straight panel going across. It's flat here, then it angles that way, and then it comes back at an angle this way. So it's contouring and meeting the stock paneling over here perfectly. It's really nice. He did some nice cutting work. As I said before, I really like the neatness of how he cut this piece right here. I like that. Neat is definitely the key. So what I'm gonna do is I will be back a little bit later. Now, we're in broad daylight right now. You guys can see this plain as day. Like, this thing is bright. The lighting kit is bright back here. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come back later when it's dark, and I'll show you the app and its functionalities, because it's a different app. So now I have many lighting apps, like LED Hue. This one is called Happy Lighting. So we'll just go over it, because every app has their own ins and outs. Like this one, actually, what I noticed was you could actually put in a password for the app, because that'll actually serve you really well when you go to a big show, and once you start searching for your product, you find literally 20-30 others, because everybody has their stuff linked to their phone. So we'll be back later. All right, guys, this is a portion of video where I show you the app and some of its functions. So now, guys, first thing you want to do, go into the Play Store, the Apple Store, download the app called Happy Lighting. Okay, once you open it, it'll take you to the screen. The upper left-hand corner, that little hamburger menu right there, go in there, and it will sense your device like right away. Wouldn't take long for it to sense the device, so the controller is pretty good. Now, before I forget, a couple things I just want to go over real quick about the app. Okay, I have a lot of lighting apps, and this app here, so let's say it's right now, it's on standard white. Okay, if you look at the screen, you see standard and you see preset. You have a lot of preset colors, and then you have standard. So if you want your trunk light to show up like white, like a normal trunk light, you click on that bulb setting right there. Okay, now whatever setting you were operating before you close the trunk, and now you reopen the trunk, that's exactly what's going to happen. The reason why I'm saying that is because what Remy did was he wired the kit into the trunk harness. So the trunk is actually the kill switch. So when I close the trunk, and reopen it, whatever setting I had on it last, either white, red, or whatever, that will be what will show up the next time I open the trunk. Pretty simple, right? All right. Now, a couple things. Let's lower the brightness real quick right here. See that slide? We can lower the brightness, raise it, so I'll keep it like that for now. Now, with the app, go to the upper left-hand corner with that hamburger menu. See that little bulb right there? Next to Triones and the number. That's the bulb right there. That could turn the app on and off depending on what conditions you're in. Like if you had a show, super bright outside, you could turn the bulbs off if you want. Now, I will tell you, this rock light kit is pretty damn bright, even in the daylight. So, food for thought. Now, guys at Main Street Stereo, you guys did not know this, but you can rename this device. You go to Group Manage, and right here, go to My Device. And you could rename this whatever you want. You could type in rock lights. Hit OK, and now it's named. Pretty simple. Okay, now this is another cool feature in this app. You guys know, you go to a show or just a little regular meet, you want to pull out your app to show your lights, and now your Bluetooth is seeing 20, 30 or more other, depending on how big the meet is, because everybody has apps on their phone. So when you go to device, obviously it works. So if I go to my device and I hold down this button, it'll tell you modify the password, okay? Now, the issue with that is it won't be successful if you try to modify it. And this is why. Go to the upper right-hand corner of the screen, of the app, I'm sorry, and you go to rainbow settings. And when you go to rainbow settings, it'll say slide up to select the device. And this is my device right here, LED type RGBW, RGB output sequence RGB. Says, now this is usually off. Connection need password, that is usually off. Once you turn it on, hit set, success. Now you can go back, hold down rock lights, and input a password in there. And once you hit OK, it'll successfully save it. Well, what that would prevent when you're at a meet or show, somebody else with the same app possibly taking over your lights, because that can be problematic. Okay? Guys, this little chain link right here, see how it looks broken because I clicked on it? You want to always make sure that that link is normalized, because that is the link. Once that link is broken, the app won't have communication with the lights pretty much. Okay? So, a couple of the settings real quick. So let's go, that's white. Let's go into RGB. Okay? Now you have your preset colors, red, green, blue, yellow, and so forth. Let's go back to RGB. Now you can play music on this bad boy. Okay? Just want to show you real quick before I don't want to get a copyright strike. Check this out. Works pretty damn good, and it's bright. Okay? If you go to tape, this is literally my voice. Pretty awesome. Okay? Now style. All these styles here, I like it on rainbow pulsating. You can do red, green pulsating, blue pulsating. And now let's increase the speed to really see what that means. See it? It's like it's breathing in and out. And now they also have a jumping menu as well. So it'll jump to all the different colors. I like it on rainbow pulsating, where you can go through all the colors, breathing in and out. That I like. So guys, definitely go to town on this. There's a lot of stuff that you can do with this, but the major thing I wanted to show you is how to put in the password and how you could change the name. Okay? So it's super, super awesome. It's a really, really cool app. I like it a lot. Go to town, and that's it for the app. Once again, guys, like, subscribe, comment. Hopefully you guys learned something. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Take it easy.